more Dungeons and Dragons. So, last time, the group decided to help a village. Well, went on a quest to help a village. But the village with a problem. All their belongings have been mysteriously disappearing. So the group decided to go to the village. And after a lot of investigation, they all come across the after Silver identified the creature as a rat. So now everyone sees the creature running. They all went after, and they all now right in the middle of. They see. They all found some rats. So we go back to where we began. And now, as we go back and anyways, so for that, I'm gonna have to roll everyone in initiative. Hold on, guys. Anyways, I forgot how the wait. Okay, so I did roll an initiative, but maybe I have to do it again. I think there are 3 more of those rats. So, let me roll initiative again for everyone. Okay, so we're gone at 20, so he'll go first. Next up, Asia. 17, okay. Or actually, I think they're already still in battle, so I think everyone are still in battle, so okay, so we go back up to the round. It's Silver's turn. So Silver, since he's up close, he's gonna use his mace and he's gonna use his mace. Hold on. Alright, let me see what I can find. So for Silver, he's gonna use his mace. Let me roll. Okay, he got a 1. So that missed. Silver tries his best to use his mace, but it missed. Next up is Raja, who's gonna there. Okay. So for Raja, she is gonna use one of her daggers. And let's see. And 14. 14 plus 4 equals 15. Okay, so that'll be an 18. So that'll hit. Now, that'll be D6. Piercing. 3. That's a 3. That's 2. That's 5. That'll be a 5. So and that'll be a hit. So as Raja takes her down. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on, guys. For some reason it fell down. Okay, as Raja, who friends have, takes her dagger and stabs at this cranium rat, it goes, and then it is down. So, up next is Queer. Up next is Queer for and Square. Let's see. Cast spell. Use some of his cast fireball. He's gonna go for an attack. And since that is a 9, wait, I use sight. That's okay. So he's gonna take away in close range. 9 plus 11. Well, I'm gonna his blade stagger 9 plus 11. Let's see. Melee attack. I would say 18, so that'll hit. Okay. And that is gonna be a D6. Alright, guys. Okay, that'll be 5. Okay. Okay. 5 plus 5 equals 10. That'll be a 10, so that'll definitely hit. Okay, as Queer goes in. How's Dagger? He hits one of the crane and it goes down. Now it's Zed's turn. Now, for Zed. Now, Zed's still in his werewolf turn. Let's see. Since Zed will be in his werewolf form, he will no. Hold on, guys. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to look. Let's see. All right. So Zed's gonna go. That there's one more cranium rat. He's gonna use his claws. Okay, so that's a 3. So 3 plus 8. 9, 10, 11. So unfortunately he missed. Zed tries his best to go for this last cranium rat, but it failed. But now it's the rat's turn. He's gonna go for one for silver. For ooh, okay, 16. So since that was the 16, I would say that will... So, yep, that'll hit. And that'll... That's a 4d6. And that'll be 2. And that'll be a 2. Take 2. Wait, the piercing damage? Wait, actually, wait, hold on. Since it's using a 16, that will plus 16. So 16 plus 4, 20. So that'll hit. As Raisha. She'll take 1 point of piercing damage. As it's cranium. He goes for a bite attack and he bit Ray. Takes 1 point of piercing damage. Now it's Iga's turn. Iga comes to Raja's aid. And he's gonna go for a... He's gonna go for a slam attack on this. Right, so let's roll. 14. 14 plus 6. 15, 17, 18. Wait, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18. 20, so that will be 20. That'll hit. It's time to... 2d6. D6 or 4. Plus 4. 2. Okay, 3 plus 1. That'll be 4. And or That'll be 8 points of damage. So now it's time to think. It's time. How will Ego do this? As he grabs and he brings for a slam this rat right on to the ground. The rat lays unconscious, lays there. Oh, so with that, seeing this, but hold on. It's not over yet. Now, as the team, but they seem more but as the battle goes down, Silver sees another one of those rats. And they see it more fun going to a everyone come now, everybody. Alright. As everything settled down, everyone battle settles down. All the villagers and the mayor meet up with you after the long battle fighting these rats. Everyone takes a look and says, "Oh my, are you all okay?" But they all say, Yes, we're all right. As you see more footprints, more little footprints, and you see a shed right there. And go and say, these came from. It looks like they came. They lead to the shed. So, what would I do? So, I see. So for silver, you would see. Go to the garden and look at the shed. The mayor says, "Oh yes, there's a shed where the keep gardeners and keep the farming tools." So, Silver goes over there. When goes over there, sees as they all the village that the garden where the shed is. So for Silver, he would do we'll do an investigation check. So okay, Silver got a 4. Try Silver try. Wait, hold on. Let me do a nature check. Silver's a ranger. I think he'll do a nature check. See what kind of rat they are dealing with. So, and then that'll be 11. So unfortunately, Silver tries his best to figure out why these cranium rats are coming into this village and taking their stuff. Doesn't know. However, the mayor says, well, unfortunately we built our village, but the mayor remembers. But and then now for the mayor, I think. But the mayor starts to remember something. He does remember. Actually, maybe the farmer knows. Wait, hold on. Let me roll. let them. 15. So these. Oh, let me roll everyone and investigate. Or either investigation or intelligence. So first up will be Raja. So. Ooh, okay, she got an 18. Zed. That's one for him. Also an 18. Silver. Oh. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. This one I do. $17 for Queer and Ega. Here go 4. But Ega got 19. Okay. First up, Queer. Queer tries to figure out his best, but however, Silver, Raja, Zed, Raja, Zed, E, and Silver remember. They would say, what if there might be a field nearby? The mayor responds, ask the mayor if they built there's a field nearby. As they ask the mayor replied saying, yes, oh, yes. For some reason we built our village near a field next to the farm. Why? Silver says, I think that might be the reason why the cranium rats are coming into the village. Unfortunately, since the village is near the farm, I bet if we go there, the farmer says, well, to tell you the truth, the farmer said, well, that actually makes a good, well, darn tune, that makes a good point. Unfortunately, the village is built next to my farm, so maybe those rats must have came there. So, the farmer says, don't worry, I'll take you to my farm. And she did claim that she did see those rats coming in with some belongings, but she didn't know where they came from. But when the village belongings were missing, she started saying, I bet those little rat creatures took all the villagers' belongings into my barn. So everybody heads to the farm. And sure enough, see, right? They took a look into the barn. Alright, let me roll everybody an investigation check. And have to say, and remember, the DC is 10 or 12. So first up is Raja. Okay, she got a 9. Zed, 3. Silver. Okay, you got 5. Queer. Okay, Queer got a 19, so now Iga. 11. So I did say the DC is 10 or 12, so I would say 10. For those who pass, they'll go last. But for the ones that failed the check, oh, hold on. Oh. Zed, Regisha, Silver, and Zed tries their best to look around the barn inside, but they don't see. However, Queer and Iga discovered something. They found the same rat, and also finding all the things from the villagers from the village, including the farmers' farm tools. With Queer and Niga informed the team saying, "Hey yo, I found something. Hey, I found something." And everybody, once they came inside the barn and looked, the farmer is in shock. She says, "Well, darn tootin', those little rats brought all the villagers' belongings into my barn." And she also says, and also, those little things turned off the lights too, inside. Ugh, darn tootin'. No wonder why it was dark in my barn. They asked, said, Raja asked the farmer, "Can we take a look at the rats and what kind they are?" Well, and the farmer said, by saying, "Yes. In the meanwhile, I might have to inform the mayor and tell him that you found the belongings, and I will return them to the village, so that way all the villagers can have their belongings back. And we might have to bring one of those little rats." Let's go. Well, there. But first, hold up. Let's do might do a nature check. So, let me roll one for silver. Wait, hold on. Wasn't right. So let me roll an investigation check. Okay, nat 20. Silver takes a look at the rat and finds out. Actually, hold on, guys. Let me try to roll an investigation. And I forgot to say about the DC. So it's either 10 or 12. Let me roll, and it's a 9, so he failed. Let me roll for the others. See if they can figure out what it is. So Risha will go first. 15. Okay. And so we rolled the 9. Zed. He got an 8. Queer. Okay, he got a 3. He got 8. So these 4 failed their nature check, but Razor passed. So Silver, Zed, Queer, and Iga tries their best to identify this creature, but they fail. But Razor says, "I know what they are." As after she looked up on the, as looking at the exposed brain on the rat, "I know what these are." She goes, "I know what these are. These are cranium rats." He said, "They must have turned off the lights, and so that's why it's harder for people in the village to see what they are, and why the lights have been. Remember, all the lights have been turned off." Oh, wait, intelligence. These might be cranium, and it makes sense. It looks like these little cranium rats must have turned off the lights. Remember how it's so dark? Why the lights are off in all the places we investigated? Yeah. Of course. Why? I think that's why these cranium rats did it. Because their exposed brain must have, and they must, an illusion to extinguish the light. So, and that's why the lights are off. These little cranium rats, they're turned off the lights. In the cafe, the shop, and person's house, and in town hall. Well, so that way they can take some of the belongings that were stolen. Well, it makes sense. So these little guys might be after catching the farm, these little rats in the cave, and saying, "All right, yep, with that, so." And the farmer says, let me see how these little guys got in." Well, as everybody's, they heard the farmer outside saying, "Hey, partners, did you find out, everyone's belongings?" "Yep." "Did you find something?" "Yep." She shows the farmer all the villagers' belongings in the barn. She'll go, "Well, darn tootin'. It looks like you," she says, "well, mighty fine. Well, that's a mighty fine. Oh, that's, oh my. And she shows in the cage these little these little rats. She said, and these little guys were actually the culprit, or the ones that been taking all the villagers' belongings. She looks at it and said, well, darn tootin', these little guys have been causing a lot of trouble. She, and said, well, actually, Reisha tells the farmer that they did identify them as cranium rats, and they've been turning off the power. I mean, they've been turning off the lights in, not just turning off all the lights in the village, but also in the barn. The farm, after saying this, the farmer says, well, darn tootin', no wonder my barn has been dark all night, including in my own home. Everyone is in shock. Raja says, oh my, have they been doing this a lot? The farmer says, well, darn tootin' they are. Every time I try to turn on the lights, for some reason, these little guys use their little, like, brain magic thingy. Magic. They turn off all the lights, not just in my house, but also in my barn. That's why I tried to figure out. I tried my best to figuring out why these little guys keep doing it. And I see them taking all my things. I'm like, taking all the tools out of my shed and bringing them into my barn. Said, after hearing, says, and that explains why everyone's belongings have been mysteriously taken. These little guys must have came from your farm into the village, because the village was right next to your farm. And that's why these little... And also, to tell you, well, that darn tune makes sense. And also, I keep finding these little mice rats keep making these holes. We found some... So, it looks like all the cranium rats have been bringing all the stuff from the village into your barn. And that includes the farming tools and ones from the garden. Well, yep, that darn tune makes sense. Well, the only right thing to do right now, hold up. Do this. Clear says, first of all, guys, what do we do with all the belongings that the cranium rats took? The farmer says, oh, don't worry about that. I'll help you all return all the belongings to all of their rightful owners. Better take all, which means taking them back to the village. And for the rats, oh, we might have to, even though we did put them in the cage, and we might have to tell the mayor what we found. And after you help the farmer load all of the villagers' belongings onto her wagon, you come back to the village with all the villagers' belongings. There you see the mayor and the townsfolk. And the farmer, she said, well, the mayor says, oh, heroes. The farmer says, well, Mr. Mayor, we found these young heroes helped me figuring out why these queen found out what's been taking all the lines. He did for everyone. And showing them the mayor sees Silver holding and shows him the cranium rats and said, yep, unfortunately, Zed explains, unfortunately, these little cranium rats right here are the reason for everyone's belongings being taken. The mayor goes, oh my! Well that right there is, well that makes sense. Why? And after that, Rachel explained, the farmer explained, yep, and unfortunately they came from my farm. Unfortunately. And Rachel says, it looks like these little cranium rats decided to take things since the village was built right next to the farmer Aaron's farm. That's where they've been coming from, and that's why they came into the village and take all everyone's belongings. Well, that makes sense. As after explaining to what the mayor says, well, I'm glad that I'm very happy that you finally solved this mystery. And Farmer Elron was in, and I'm mighty fine glad you all helped with this mystery. I'm really mighty fine too. And she informed you guys, and don't worry, I managed. She also explained, says, well, I did find those, yeah, that she found holes in the wall. That mayor thing that you did find holes in the walls. And it looks like these rats made these holes in the walls so that way they can fit through and take everyone's belongings. Found out that the villagers' windows were all open. And why the farmer holes found the grain in the wall. And with everybody having all their belongings back, the mayor and the farmer thanked you all for helping them solve this mystery. And the mayor says, Farmer Elron came in and says, I have your apology. She said, I'd like to thank you all for solving this mystery and getting everyone's belongings back, including my farming tools. But she also says, and I am very sorry for what these little cranium rats did. So, but Zed comes over and says, it's okay, Farmer Elron. I know you didn't mean. I know it wasn't. We understand. Well, if anything, I better make sure these little cranium rats don't cause any more trouble. And with that, you say farewell to everyone in the village, including Elrond, as you all make your way back to the Millennium Dragon and prepare for liftoff. Going into the sky, going back into space. So, well, on the Millennium Dragon, Zed says, "Well, everyone, another mission well done." As Queer says, "Oh, thank goodness. I thought we would never. Thank goodness. I don't want to go near those little cranium rat things anymore." Anyway, everyone got this. Everyone is sitting down, having a nice dinner. And as the days go by, Zed goes, "All right, everyone. Like, all right, everyone. All right, let's head to bed. It's starting to get late, so here." And what's looks like these. Everyone sits there, and as the time goes by, after everyone has a nice sit down for dinner and says, "Well, I'm very happy for all." Zed comes and says, "I'm very happy that I'm very proud of everyone for helping solve the mystery. And now we get to go. We'll have another mission starting up, another quest starting up tomorrow. But for now, it's starting to get really late, so let's all head to bed and get ready for tomorrow, because we got some more missions for tomorrow." And with that, everybody heads to their rooms on the Millennium Dragon. Well, to get some, so everyone can have enough to rest up for tomorrow morning. Well, everything is going on. Silver, it's like, I wonder how the screen here is going. It's like, another thing. As everyone goes to sleep in the Millennium Dragon to get ready for the next quest for tomorrow. And with that, that is where we'll end today's session. Alright, guys. So I will be ending it off here. If you guys enjoyed this Dungeons and Dragons live session live stream video, please leave a like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to see more videos like this. And as always, I will see you guys next time.